Ciao Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel, where of course it's all Juve all the time. I'm Alberto, you know the drill. I'm going to give you all the latest news surrounding La Signor. We're going to take a look at Mercato madness and the rumors swirling around and more names being added to the list of potential targets for Juventus. We're going to take a look at some of our players that could be outgoing in January. Then of course we're going to take a look at one player who's actually skipped the Juventus working holiday and actually heading to Contanassa before everybody else, and then take a look at which Juventus players are going to be in action in the World Cup today. All right, so let's get into it. Alright, Juventini, friendly reminder to like the video and of course subscribe to the channel, right? And another friendly reminder, and actually a challenge I'm going to issue to everybody as we get closer to the end of November, which is actually Movember, which is why I have this mustache, and other members of the team have grown mustaches for this month, and we are trying to raise money for men's health and prostate cancer awareness. Alright, so what I'm challenging everybody to do is maybe skip that coffee, because every little bit helps. Maybe your morning coffee if you go out and purchase it, or a breakfast or whatever, and maybe just donate that for one day just so that we can try and hit that target. All right, so I will drop the link in the description to this video. Any and all donations are massively appreciated, and thank you to all those who already have. Now, without further ado, let's get to the news. All right, so we have Karsdorp still being linked with a potential move to Juventus. The Bianconeri, what they're doing is waiting to see if they can deal strictly with his agent and the player, or if they still have to go through Roma, as it's still in limbo. Basically, Karsdorp's dismissal from Roma isn't totally complete, and Roma, he is essentially still Roma's property, so the Bianconeri continue to wait. Karsdorp would be someone they would add as being that fallback to Quadrado and offer that support there. All right, he's one of those names. For me, I stand strong on this that I'm not the biggest fan of Karsdorp, and I think there's probably a couple other opportunities out there that would be better for Juventus. Jacob Kiwior of Spezia is another name to add to the target list for Juventus, and apparently we're not the only club. Roma and Milan are also looking at this player. There's quite a few other teams as well, but those are the big teams that are going after him, which are Roma, Milan, and Juventus out of Serie A, because there is a lot of interest among Serie A for Kiwior of Spezia. So he's another one to add to the list. Then you have Joachim Mele. So he is not getting a lot of minutes under Gasparini at Atalanta, all right, and he has been added to the list of potential targets for Juventus, and he is one that is very intriguing. Okay, so Mele is on that list as well for Juventus. So some new names getting dropped in there, and of course one of old with Karsdorp. So it'll be interesting to see how Juve navigates this. Sampdoria coming in on Daniele Rugani again for a potential loan. Now, I stand firm on this one. If Rugani goes, I would still like to see a center back brought in as some type of coverage, okay? Because we are utilizing fullbacks in there. Bonucci, apparently, you know, if the news is true of yesterday that Juve is going to start shopping him, then it makes things very interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to need support even if they let Rugani go. But if Bonucci's getting shopped and by some chance someone comes in and purchases him, then you've got an interesting scenario. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at center back. So I still say if one goes, I would like to see somebody brought in for the coverage there at center back. Now, Gatti who's being there, the latest reports surfacing about Gatti are that he is going to get an increased workload in the second half of the season, and Max Allegri is going to push for that growth that should be happening with Gatti. And honestly, I'm surprised he had such little minutes in the first half of the season for Juventus, but I'm excited to see him get more in the second half of the season, which should naturally happen. We've got the knockouts coming up in Europa League, but Coppa Italia kicking off. Look for Gatti to get more minutes, all right? And then we get to Locatelli, okay? So we're going to wrap things up on Locatelli. Locatelli, all the Juventus players right now up until December 6th are on a working holiday. And what that is that they don't need to be a Contanassa, but they have a schedule, a training regimen given to them by the team that they have to uphold on their own accord. But Locatelli is actually at Contanassa today training, okay, and bypassing the working holiday, and he will be there from here on out until December 6th when the rest of the team joins him, okay. Locatelli for me, and I stood strong when he was getting all the criticisms about performances and everything like that. This guy is needs to be one of the pillars for Juventus moving forward. That's my honest opinion. He does everything right. He says everything right. And he lives and breathes bianconeri, black and white. I love the guy. And I'm excited for what he can do in the second half of the season. All right. He had that lull in this first half of the season, but he came back and corrected. And so far, the alternatives haven't done what Locatelli has done since he's come back from his personal issues and whatnot. So there you have it. That's your news break to today. Last, certainly not least, World Cup action today with Brazil facing Serbia. You will see at least 3 Juve players in, all right? So Kostic and Vlahovic set to start for Serbia, and Danilo slated to start for Brazil. Marquinhos is questionable for Brazil, but he should be starting. Otherwise, you think maybe Bremer gets in there too, but right now it's just Danilo. It's going to be starting for Brazil. So there you have it. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be at 11 a.m. my time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's going to be a fantastic watch, all right? That's your news break, Juventini. You know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please, if you can, every little bit helps. Donate to the AJC Movember link in the description to the video. And we will talk to you tomorrow. But most importantly, drop your questions, comments, thoughts, opinions in the comment section of this video. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow. And on Saturday, we'll be doing a live news weekly recap and a little World Cup action talk. All right, so can't wait for that one. Fino alla fine, forza Juve, ciao tutti.